All right, everyone. I'm really excited to see all of you. It looks like we have a lot of people today again, which is really exciting. So I have this book, and it's a science book. And you know me, I love science and nature. So this one's all about planet Earth. So I think maybe the way we'll do it is I'll read a little bit. And if you have a question or a comment, you can raise your hand and we'll take breaks and we can chat and I might ask some questions. But if you do have a question, just raise your hand, click the raise hand button on your white screen there, and I'll try and keep checking and try and get to you, okay? Can I get like a thumbs up? Yeah, nodding head.
And before I mute myself, if you can't find the raise hand button, then type down into this little text box. You can see it, okay?
Perfect. And we can also keep just checking. If you can't do either of those things, if you're just raising your hand, then we can try and check for that as well. All right. So, again, this book is called Planet Earth. What planet do we live on? This is one of my favorite series of books. There's a whole bunch. So if we like this one, maybe we can read a different one next time. So first, it says Earth. So just a couple of little points about Earth, some fun facts. It's home sweet home. That's where we live on. That's our planet. And it means the world of Terra. The third planet from the sun, and it circles in the habitable zone. So obviously the sun is really hot, but where we're circling is safe for people to live. So we're really lucky. This all-around hero is 4.6 billion years old and counting, which is very old. So the first part says, I'm one of a kind. With the perfect conditions for surface liquid water, I'm the only known planet in the universe that can protect and nurture the thing we call life. So Earth is the only planet that we know of right now that is safe for things to live on. I'm a big, lovable ball of rock with a crunchy metal core at my center, just like a jawbreaker. The liquid metal part of my core generates a magnetic field that protects me from the worst of the sun's radiation. The deep dialogue of the insiders, so that's all the things inside the Earth that we don't really get to see, they keep my insides grumbling. The surface is wet, wet, wet. So the Earth is 70% water. More than 2/3 of it is covered in liquid water, the life-giving juice that shapes my drier parts. The continental landlubbers, so that's things like mountains and continents and trees. Next comes a little atmosphere, a thin layer of air where the weather gang hangs out. The thin shell covering my surface is called the biosphere and is home to the lively crew. So the word bio means life. So the biosphere is what helps us breathe. Time to go global. So that's the picture. And that right in there is the Earth's core that we're about to talk about. I actually have one question before we go. Does anyone think that there is life on any other planet that's not Earth? So like aliens. What do we think about that? Do we think there are things living on other planets that aren't Earth? If you want to raise your hand, if you have an answer. Greg, it looks like your hand is raised, my friend.
Okay, what I think of, like other things that are living is like aliens, like
Yeah.
You know who's the you just kind of tell that to all the scientists, the well-known famous scientist is Dr. Temple Grandin. She's a scientist and she's a speaker as well in Fort Collins, Colorado.
But what do you think, Greg? Do you think there's life on other planets?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Jessie, do you have a thought? Is your hand up?
Yes.
I do.
Yeah, what do you think, Jessie?
I think it's been hot summer. It's hot, but not too windy. Like, it's hot.
Yeah.
The earth, the sky. I feel like happy.
Yeah, good answer. Thank you.
Awesome.
Sandy, do you have a thought, my friend? Sandy?
Unmute, go. But there's people on Earth, on the
Yep.
planet. There's people
Yeah,
on the
do you think there are people on any other planets?
Yeah.
Yeah, which planets do you think?
Mars.
Maybe. Definitely. Good answer.
Yeah.
Ashley, you sent me a couple of chats, my friend. Would you like to share? Ashley Higgins?
Well, you can.
Hi.
Yeah,
Hi.
You try it, I think.
Do you wanna tell us your thoughts? You had some really good ones that you sent me.
That scientists believe that there used to be life form on Mars. They found where lakes used to be, or may still be.
Whoa, that's really interesting. And what do you think? Do you think there are still life forms on Mars?
No.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Just
I
here.
guess we can't know. Just here? Yeah, that's a good thanks. That's a great answer. Any other thoughts before we keep going? Doesn't look like anyone else has their hand up. All right, thanks for sharing, everyone. Oh, Emily, sorry.
Gorman.
Emily, do you have a thought, my friend? Emily.
You'll have to unmute yourself, Em. I unmuted you here, so you'll have to click the unmute button. Emily, maybe you can check in with your mom or your sister if they're there and they can help you out, and then we can circle back to you, okay?
We can come back, definitely. Just let us know when you get it sorted, okay, Emily? All right, so chapter 1 is all about the things inside the earth that we don't get to see because we're on the outside of the earth. So from deep in the belly to its outer layer, the insiders help make planet Earth what it is, a cut and thrust place with a lot going on under the surface. Earth is a warm and mostly solid planet with 24,850 miles waste. Wow, that's very big. Think of Earth as an egg. Core is the yolk, mantle is the white, and crust is the thin shell. But the crust is not all it's cracked up to be. It's made of crazy paving sections called plates that drift around all over the surface. Their nonstop movements give rise to many a savage volcano and earthquake, which judder the planet to its core. And those are the pictures of all the different things.
Hey,
Oh, hey, Emily. What do you think, Em? Do you think there's life on other planets?
yes. I think
Yes.
there's tons of
Where? Tons of them.
Probably in outer space.
Yeah. Outer space is pretty big. It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Emily. Glad that we got to hear your thought.
Yeah.
I think there's
All right.
I think that there's other people living on other planets. Well, you know, think of the alien ET, ET phone home.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. There could be
E.T..
lots of ETs out there that we don't know about yet. Steven Spielberg was ahead of his time. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the core, and that is the very, very center of the Earth. So it is a super hot heavyweight that sits at the center of the Earth, and it has two parts, a solid inner core and a liquid outer core. It currents in its liquid part, and that's what generates Earth's magnetic field. So I'm called the kernel because I'm right at the heart of things. I look like a giant shiny metal ball. With all my iron content, I'm mostly iron with a tiny bit of nickel. I take credit for making planet Earth a giant magnet. When it comes to structure, I'm a bit like an inside-out chocolate truffle. Crunchy on the inside, but liquid on the outside. It is hot, hot, hot being stuck in the middle of a planet, hot enough to melt metal. But the insane pressures at the center of the Earth cause my inner parts to stay solid. You might call me dense, but don't take me lightly. I'm an extremely weighty character. Although I make up only about 1/6 of the Earth's weight, I account for almost 1/3 of its mass. Wow. Are there any questions about that part? Any questions about the very center of the Earth, the core? Emily, do you have your hand up, my friend? You might have to unmute yourself, Em. Okay, we're gonna go to Jessie and then just let us know when you get it figured out, okay, Emily? Jessie, what do you think? Do you have any questions or comments?
So the sun is a bit
Hi.
hot.
Sorry.
So you feel like living in the air. So
Sorry, Jessie, one more time.
So the sun is hot. It's going out in the air in the motion. You go to the sky. It's so hot. It's going. You go inside in the moon. You see the anything is so high and it's humid. Anything gives the paper. That's how it's like in the sky to see in the moon.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really great thought. You're absolutely right. Thank you for sharing.
Hey.
Emily, you got it?
Yeah.
All right, what do you think? Do you have any questions or comments about the Earth's core?
I think the Earth's core might be the facts about the Earth a lot.
Pardon?
It might be about the Earth.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Yeah, it's right in the middle of the Earth. So we're kind of on the outside of the Earth, and way in the middle is the core.
That's right.
That's right. Great thought. Great idea. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Vannessa, do you have a... Yeah, me too.
Nice.
Vannessa, do you have a question or comment?
Hi.
Vannessa. Hey.
Hey.
What do you think, Vannessa?
I like, I'm gonna say,
You put your hand up.
Earth is, hot day, and do circling, and happy sun, and have fun on Earth Day.
Absolutely. Yeah, the earth is always turning, and when where we live is closest to the sun, it does get really hot. Absolutely right. That's a really great thought. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Greg, do you have your hand up, my friend?
Unmute myself. Well, like does it kind of mean that it's kind of like the end of the world because of this COVID-19 stuff, and like because like as some people are saying it is because there are like a lot of people who have like are like there's been a lot of deaths.
Yeah, I think all of our frontline workers are doing their best and doing a really great job keeping us safe. So I don't think we have to worry about that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everyone's doing their best, and as long as we keep ourselves safe, I think we'll be all right. But thank you for sharing. Definitely something going on the planet Earth right now. Yes. All right, I'm going to move on to the next part, which is the mantle. And it kind of looks like that. And I'm going to explain what it is. So it's a big thicky that sits between the crust and the core. So right between the very center of the earth and kind of the hard rocky part of the inside of the earth. It's almost 5/6 of Earth's volume and 2/3 of its mass, which is very, very big and heavy. It's the convection forces that push the plates around the Earth's surface. So again, the rocky parts of the Earth, this kind of helps them move around and causes things like earthquakes, like we read before. So the mantle, most people forget about me. When they think of the Earth, they imagine the crust with all its fancy mountains and playful oceans, or the mysterious metal core. Well, I may be a bulky, laid-back kind of fellow who oozes sloth-like under the surface, but I've got the core surrounded on all sides, and I can tear the crust apart with the merest shrug. Although I'm mostly solid as a rock, when I get hot under the surface, I can turn into fiery, hot, liquid rock called magma. Just beneath the crust, my temperature is an oozing 900 to 1600 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 500 to 900 degrees Celsius. But at the edge of the core, I'm around 4,000 degrees Celsius and totally solid. Although I say calm deep inside, I move plates around the Earth's surface, causing earthquakes and volcanoes. It's the huge plumes of hot magma rising from my depths that create the hot spots. So, any thoughts about that? Has anyone ever been anywhere where they've seen a volcano, maybe? I see Emily's hand raised.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah. I know something about
Where
that.
were you? Yeah, what do you know about that?
I just a fact about it.
What's the
I'm gonna
fact?
have to say in Hawaii. We don't. I just know a fact about that.
Very cool. There are definitely volcanoes in Hawaii. That's a really great fact. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ashley Higgins, would you? Yeah, that's a great one. Great job, Emily. Ashley Higgins, would you like to share? Oh, one sec, Greg. You can go next, okay? We're gonna give Ashley a turn.
On TV.
Yeah.
Lately,
what did you see on TV?
Lately, there's, or at least last year, there was a big one where, I forget where it was, but there was a big one and it caused a lot of problems. The big one that erupted a couple years ago, like last year on TV. It wasn't in Hawaii. But it was all over the news. Yeah. maybe Guatemala or something.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. No, I don't even think I heard about that one.
I have a friend that was
There was one just recently that was all over the news. But that's where I've seen
Wow.
the volcanoes and when they've erupted.
Very cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Ashley. Greg, would you like to share your thought now, my friend? Thank you for waiting.
I haven't been anywhere except maybe somewhere like down in the Caribbean, like Cuba, but I don't think there's any volcanoes down there, or Jamaica.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, I've been to Jamaica, but I didn't see any volcanoes there.
Well, I guess that's a good thing.
But
Thanks for sharing, though, Greg.
I haven't been anywhere where there was a volcano. So there you go. And that's
There
a
we
good
go.
thing.
Thank you for
That's
sharing.
a good thing because
It is.
I wouldn't want to go anywhere where there was a volcano about to erupt.
Well, most volcanoes are dormant, which means they've been calm for a really long time. And things like what Ashley was saying, like on TV when she saw a volcano erupt, it's very rare. So I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah. Oh, James, do you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I wanted to say to Ashley that it was in the Philippines.
Oh.
Yeah, she was puzzled. So I was puzzled at first too, so I had to think about it, and that's why it took me this long to answer. That's all.
That's okay. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for clearing it up. Wow. Does everyone see camp on James's screen?
Oh, do I have to talk to
Jessie, I think. Oh, no, I think it's there.
Hi,
There we go.
James.
Hi.
James.
Oh, hey, Sarah.
I'm late.
Jessie, did you also have a thought, my friend?
Yes. So, I think I heard actually the same thing too. I heard the news this day.
Yeah, you heard it on the news?
I heard the volcano's hot. Yeah. It's on TV. I heard it. It's coming down. He mashed anything. And I heard the basketball guy died before. He flies the airplane that crashed and died with a daughter.
Oh my goodness.
Bad. But I thought it's a good idea to watch the TV.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
So my parents are too. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, everybody. So the next part of the inside of the earth is the crust, and that's the really hard part. So we're going to see what he has to say. So this is our planet's richly covered surface. So this is what we walk on. And it's made of solid rock of the continents and the seabed. Does anyone know what continent we live on? Does anyone want to raise their hand and make a guess at what continent we live on?
The continent we live is in Canada.
That's the country we live in. You're absolutely right. But do you know what continent Canada is in?
Ontario. That's the province.
Very, very close. That is the province. What if I
I
guess?
know.
Do you think? One sec, Greg. Sarah, do you think Canada is in North America or South America?
It's in North America.
It is in North America. Thank you so much. So yeah, so that's what the crust is. So all the different continents in the bottom of the ocean. So it's crusty by name and crusty by nature. It's the insider's fragile guy. So here's what he has to say. Beauty is skin deep, but that's fine with me. I've got all the looks. While the core and the mantle may be hot stuff, I'm the face of the earth and the one with all the scenery. Some may point out that I'm just solidified rock that floored to the surface when earth was young and molten, but we all know that yummy cream rises to the top. I'm thicker in some parts than others, just like a reflection in a crystal clear lake. The shapes I form at the surface are mirrored below, so underneath mountain ranges, huge anti-ranges poke down into the mantle. Basalt lies under most of the oceans, and granite forms the bread and butter of the continents. On top of this, there's a thin scraping of sedimentary rock made mostly from ground-up pieces of igneous rock. So the Earth's crust is all of the scenery that we see. So all of the trees and all of the mountains. And so what the book was saying is that everything we see, all of the rock kind of formations that we see above the surface is also under the surface. Does anyone have any thoughts about that on the continents or the scenery? Jessie, your hand is up, my friend. What do you think?
I think it was be the rock. It could be. It does the thing over the city, Canada. So I think it's the thing about the country and the other thing. Plus, then everything in the part. Thanks. About rock.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a really great thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing. That's a really great idea.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Evan, do you have a thought, my friend? Evan? You may have to click unmute, Evan. Maybe. Do you see the button at the bottom left of your screen, Evan, that says unmute? It's got a red line through it, probably.
You did him.
Okay, Evan, is it okay if we come back to you, my friend?
Sure.
Oh, did we get it? Oh,
Yeah.
no, you got it. You go ahead.
I got it.
You go ahead. What do you think? What do you think about
I
the
think
Earth's crust?
the Earth's crust, like, to down on the ground, like this ball, but because the crust go around, because the pieces in the end. That's
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really great thought. And Laura just messaged me and said you had your hand up for a few other things. So do you have any thoughts about the Earth's core or the mantle or volcanoes or anything
it's a
too?
mantle. Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, the mantle?
Yes.
It's very hot in there. Yeah, no, thanks, Evan. I'm glad we caught you. Thanks, Laura. Greg, do you have a thought, my friend?
About what?
About the Earth's crust, any of the scenery, any of the continents?
Oh, well, I think the Earth's crust kind of like looks like a big fat, pie or something.
Yeah, it kind of does. Absolutely.
Yeah, as I think.
Yes.
Maybe that's a great idea. That is kind of what Evan was saying too. Thanks for sharing, guys. Those are really great
Welcome.
ideas.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have any thoughts? No? All right, let's keep going. So now we're going to talk about the plates. So plates move apart, crash, and slide alongside one another. Shifting plates can make oceans wider or disappear altogether. The science of plates is called plate tectonics. So, think the ground beneath your feet is going nowhere? Think again. Crust is not as fixed as it looks at first glance. It's more like a hard-boiled egg with a broken shell. He's made up of pieces called plates that are slowly on the move. My crew floats on mantle and slides very slowly over the Earth's surface with cooler, denser plates slipping down into the mantle. Where we're moving apart, new crust is being made to fill in the gaps, and where we're crushing together, old crust gets pushed back into hot mantle. All this jostling of stubborn rock causes earthquakes. Plates fit together snugly like pieces in a jigsaw puzzle. If you look at the shape of the eastern coast of South America and the western coast of Africa, you can see where two plates once rubbed side by side. So basically it's saying, if we look at a map of the world and we look at all of the continents and all of the different land masses, ocean, those were once kind of pushed together. It once looked very different. But because the plates are always moving and pushing and pulling, we have a different map now and things moved apart. Does anyone have any thoughts about that? Does anyone want to share anything about that? Questions? Just trying to see who's hand. Emma, do you have a thought, my friend?
Yeah, I do.
All right, lay it on me.
So the Earth, the Earth, it's the Earth is the the Earth is a planet.
Absolutely, yeah. And what kinds of things do we have on planet Earth? What are some things you can think of?
It takes you really high up.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a really big planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about Earth?
The Earth turns around.
Always spinning. Yeah, thanks, Emma. Those were really awesome thoughts. I really appreciate you sharing. Would anyone else like to share some thoughts?
Some thoughts.
Yeah, Sarah, go ahead, my friend.
So I saw James at Belwood, and he's working there. So what is he doing there?
I'm not sure. Maybe you can ask him a little bit later. But for now, do you have any thoughts about what we were talking about, land moving apart?
I know what the plant is. Planet Earth moves around in a circle from night to day.
It sure does, yeah.
Sometimes the moon reflects on the sun.
Yeah, that's a really great thought, Sarah. So the moon actually doesn't make its own light like the sun does. So Sarah's exactly right. The light reflects off of the moon, and that's how we can see it. Thanks for sharing that, Sarah. That was really great.
So that's what we can see it, but we can't see the moon during the day because it's all white.
Exactly. Awesome, Sarah. Thank you. Jessie, do you have a thought, my friend? Your hand is up.
Yeah. So I think it's the earth in the sky. You feel it in the road here, in the house, and I want to can as well. The earth is, the sun is going down, and the moon is come up, like moon go lower, high. And last night for college, I saw the moon with their in the sky. So I think it's going to shine gold. It's really cool. I just saw it, like, it's nothing cold, it's nothing warm, it's in the moon out. So you got stars and everything. Same. You get moon in your backyard and you're seeing anything. Just go stars and anything. You can do a watch.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Jessie. It is really cool to look at the moon and the stars.
So yeah.
I really like doing that too. Yeah, thank you. McKenna, is your hand up, my friend? Was that a hand raise?
Yeah.
McKenna, was that a hand raise?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what do you think, McKenna?
I agree with,
Do you have any?
Pardon?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, it's okay.
You go ahead, you agree with?
Well, I think that, that I agree with Sarah, basically.
About which part?
About the light.
Yeah, about light reflecting off of the moon, and that's how we can see it?
Yeah, but
that's a really awesome point.
Yeah, but
Thanks,
as
McKenna.
what she says, like you can't.
It's my name, Jessie. You remember?
Oh, 1 second, Greg. We're gonna make sure everyone has a turn, okay? Someone else just had their hand up. Ryan, did you have your hand up? Ryan Mitchell, did you raise your hand?
That was part of me stretching.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts while you're here?
Thoughts about the Earth? I believe it is one of the best planets, hands down.
Top 3 for sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbeatable. Like, think about it. Does any other planet have Camp Belwood on it? I don't think so.
That's true. Earth does.
That is.
All right. That is a very good point, Ryan. Thank you. David, do you have a point, my friend? David Jacobs? Something you'd like to share? You may have to unmute yourself first, my friend. Do you see the little button in the bottom left corner of your screen? Okay, David, we're gonna come back to you in 1 minute, okay? You try and unmute. It's right at the bottom left corner. There should be a red line through it. But for now, Evan, would you like to share, my friend? Evan. You also may have to unmute yourself.
Hey,
Hey, what do you think, Evan?
I think like the picture of your book, like the clouds, the sun, the bottom of my feet, like it's like the sun, the reflection from my window,
Right.
like the heat part.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The light is what creates heat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really great thought.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Evan. Thanks for sharing.
Welcome. Thanks.
David, did we figure out how to unmute, my friend? David Jacobs, did we find the button? Not quite yet. Okay, David, we're gonna come back to you, okay, my friend? You keep trying. You let us know as soon as you get it. But in the meantime, Emily, do you wanna share a last thought?
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Yeah, David's got it. All right. What do you think, David?
My favorite planet is the moon.
Oh, the moon is definitely a pretty awesome celestial body. Yeah, definitely one of my favorites too.
And the moon too.
And the moon too. But what do you think about planet Earth, David?
And the planet Earth is the outer space.
It is in outer space. Absolutely. Anything else? Any other thoughts?
I'm doing good.
You're doing good. I'm so glad to hear that, David. Thanks for sharing, my friend. Emily, do you have a last thought? Sorry, I cut you off before. Emily Gorman, you may have to unmute yourself again, my friend.
There.
There. Nice. You did it. What do you think, Em? What do you think about the rest of the Earth that we talked about?
I'm gonna have to say like a storm planet.
Oh, yeah, 5 for 5. 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, maybe I see a storm planet. There's a thunderstorms.
A storm planet.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. There are definitely
Because of Ryan's
thunderstorms.
house. Is that Ryan?
Thanks, Emily. Ashley Higgins, would you like to share your last thought with everyone? The one that you just sent me?
It's actually true. Yeah.
Ashley?
I was just saying that if you've ever looked up at the sky, it kind of looks like you're in like a dome. It's like dome shaped.
Absolutely it does. Yeah, that's a really great thought. I guess we don't usually
because I
think
think,
about that
yeah.
when we look up at the sky.
Really?
Yeah, thanks for sharing. All right, everybody. It is about 5 minutes to 5. So if we like this book, maybe we can read a little bit more another day. But for now, if you want to say your goodbyes, we have about 5 minutes. So thank you all for listening.
Okay. Let's say hi to James. Hi, James.
Maggie.
Hi.
Hi, James.
Bye, Maggie.
James.
Bye.
Hi, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, goodbye.
Bye, Maggie.
Everyone.
Nice story.
Maggie.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Thomas.
Ta-ta.
Bye, Vanessa.
Bye,
You're
Alex.
good.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, we'll see you
Good
next
night
time,
there.
everybody.
Tomorrow.
Bye,
Wanna leave there.
Bye.
Good answers.
Wanna leave?
No.
Bye, Maggie.
Oh, okay.
What do I
Bye,
do?
Thomas.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Jackie.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hello. Bye, James.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Emma.
Bye, James.
Bye, James.
Bye, Greg. Bye,
Bye. Bye.
Bye,
Bye, Greg.
Maggie. Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
Here,
Jared.
guys.
bye.
This is quite funny.
See you all
Bye,
Bye, Sarah.
That way you can. That way you can
What's
just.
some of your dance moves?
I just think that you get
I just talked about the book about the space stuff.
Bye.
I got audio.
Bye, Evan.
Oh, bye.
Bye, Claire.
Bye, Evan.
Hey,
See you tomorrow.
see you tomorrow.
See ya.
Tomorrow is so
Bye, Samsung Galaxy Tab.
Bye,
Bye,
Crystal.
everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye, Evan.
Bye, David.
Bye, Emma.
Bye, Jeremy.
Bye, Ryan.
Bye,
Bye,
David.
Maggie.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye, David.
Bye, Jeremy.
Bye,
Have a
Jesse.
great day
Bye, Richard.
tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you soon, everybody.
Tomorrow.
Camp next year.
Next year?
Yeah, next summer camp.
Okay.
Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.
Lily. Hello.
Hello.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Maggie. Hi, Lily.
Bye, David.
Bye, guys.
Hi, Maggie.
Bye.